Hey everybody, how's it going? This is that suburban gardener, permaculture style guy. We are coming to you live from not being able to go outside anymore, or whatever the thing is now. We've been having rain for days, and here's the result of that. I think you can already see. Ugh, I'm stepping in it. The lake, the clay lake. Where we had dug out the pool. Sunflowers are coming up everywhere. That's starting to go crazy. The cilantro is going to bolt, so it's getting big. That mulberry tree, oh my goodness, it's loaded with mulberries right now. And I don't know what you ladies are talking about. I'm not trying to give y'all nothing. Yeah, things are starting to wake up, and it's starting to look good. What up, Hank? What are you looking at? The kiwis are starting to do their thing for the spring. Again, it's still before our last frost date. So we'll see how that goes. It's just been a really warm winter, so everything keeps trying to grow. We had put a few potatoes in down here. They're starting to come up. We put 9 potatoes in. Like, I don't know if y'all can see it. There's one like right there. And then there's like the big one in the middle. It's looking cool. There's some small stuff on this one. There's one little thing coming up for that one. What are you stalking, bro? The chickens have dug up all my tree logs. my tree logs, is that redundant? But yeah, that's what it had looked like originally. Some of that stuff we'd put in here to rot out. The cherries are starting to wake up, at least the Skeena is. Let's see. Oh yeah, wow. Look at that. Getting ready to burst forth with flowers and cherries for the year. You can see, looking good. Look at that. Oh, nice flower clusters. And again, that is a Skeena cherry. These trees, I figure I'll let get bigger than I'm going to ever let these guys get over there, because they're under the lines. But back here in the back of the yard where there's nothing, I thought to myself, well, you know what? There ain't no sense in the world why these cherry trees, if they want to get 20, 30 foot tall, I'm going to let them. However, I'm going to make them do it slow because I don't want them to get weak and floppy. There's a lot of wind around here. So I'm still going to keep bringing them back every year or two. I didn't last year on purpose, let them get a little higher. Probably going to bring them back this year. Let them concentrate one new leader up in each side, but I'll slow that upwards growth to let this get thicker, and then it can start new growth going up from that. Woo! It can start new growth going up from that, and it'll be better. So the other cherry doesn't show, like it looks like its flowers are not opening yet. Well, maybe one little bit. Look at there. There's a little bit. It'll focus. But yeah, it's starting to maybe do something. They need to flower together. What are you sniffing at? What are you doing? You are no respecter of boundaries, mister. Literally no respecter of boundaries. A lot of the cilantro is starting to bolt, so little diminutive cilantro plants turn into these monstrous things when they bolt. They'll get really huge. I think you can see one standing up inside the greenhouse. The ones around the blueberries are doing the same thing. Oh, look, we actually got our first flowers. There they are, cilantro flowers. The bees love it. They will be out here in mass, you're going to see. So we'll let these things go to seed, and we'll have coriander seeds, I guess, even though we don't really use that much. The blueberries that I tried to cut up and transplant worked really good. I dug up some roots from the existing blueberries and planted them as dormant stalks. And look at there. And one that was growing underground, and that was just a rhizome-looking growth under the blueberry, under the mulch. And had a little piece of a root on it, and we cut it off and did that and stuck them in the dirt, and they both lived. You can see they're kind of red tipped where they were growing under the ground. But yeah, that seems to be working. The fruit trees, I finally started giving them a little fertilizer about a couple days ago, and that usually kicks growth off on citrus. So I do see that. Like, they haven't been doing much all winter. They've just been sitting here kind of dormant, just kind of chilling, and that's exactly why I didn't fertilize them. I just kept them watered and let nature take its course. But it's time to start waking them up for the year. So I have a little bit of fertilizer in each one, and then washed it through with a lot of water, and that kind of wakes them up, perks them right up. They'll start growing again. Yeah, that's about it in here. Oh, this girl here is about to flower. That little bit of fertilizer, it perked up her flowers. I did give it it's not a high nitrogen, it was a high phosphorus fertilizer, so yeah, it's gonna make flowers. be pretty and smell good. This whole thing's got green tips all growing through it, all kinds of little flower tips. If it would focus. I guess it ain't gonna. But anyway, yeah, it's looking good. Ooh, that whole end over there looks kind of cool. Yeah. New growth's starting to spurt off everywhere. Just brand new stuff. So, yeah. We'll get it growing for the year. Yeah, look at the muck. Look at this. The dog has dug here. My clay soil, water doesn't soak into this soil really fast. It's cool if you do this. It does soak in. Now that spot will have more moisture longer because during the summer, again, this is going to turn into a dried out, looks like the Bonneville salt flats. It's going to look bad. So this extra moisture we can save during the wet time of the year, that's awesome. Starting to look like it's snowing inside the boxes from all the little flowers falling off. Like a little snowstorm of flowers. There's a lot of these that have already dropped their flowers and already getting ready to set their little fruits. Like some of these whole clusters are already done. There's some flowers that haven't even opened yet, such as these are just now getting open. And there's some that are already done to the point where they're ready to make berries. So they don't all ripen at the same time, and that's good. So you kind of get some over time. It's interesting. But yeah, these things are flowering hard and they're looking real pretty. And the cilantro too. Little plants that you didn't even know were there going bolting. So these little stalks sticking up. More water, just standing water. More standing water. This is why we do raised beds over here. The cilantro all in that garden, you can see them all standing up tall. We hit 80 degrees one day. Once it hit 80 degrees, cilantro bolts. I mean, it just happens quick. So this thing's coming back great. You can see with it raining, the grass grows amazing. The almond is looking real good. Yeah, it's actually looking really good. I'm kind of surprised. Some of the growth looks real healthy. Remember where I cut it back real hard right here? Look at this huge flush of growth and all these little tips. I'm gonna clear some of this out. It's like too much. Bushing. I did sprinkle some fertilizer in here. And I had to uproot a bunch of weeds. This thing is full of weeds. I'm gonna do it one part at a time, pull them up and let them die back, and I'll come back and do that other section later. Yeah, everything's looking good. Sunflowers, like literally, wait till y'all see. It's no joke. The rain washed off all of our flowers, and the one fruit tree hasn't bloomed yet. This is another problem we got. So this is the one I'm talking about. It's the Burbank plumcot, and the flowers are opening, but its pollinator, most of its flowers got knocked off. All that's left is going to be some residual. It's not going to be that big flush of flowers, and the old flowers too, with just pollen everywhere as this is flowering because the rains have washed everything off. Right as this one wants to popcorn now. Now this one's getting started. So we'll see how that goes. Right. So this one has already flowered so profusely, and this one was behind it, but I guess it's not going to flower that hard this year or something. I mean, it's almost like they're done. When you see the branches that were so covered in flowers are now just all this stuff. Let me try something real quick. Okay. Look, I think you can see that. Yeah. That's a whole branch full of expended flowers. A lot of these will fall off if you touch them, but the ones that stay on, those are the ones that got pollinated most likely. Like, look at this branch. This whole long branch. Just covered. And even the tip is just wadded up with them. That's a bunch of that stuff should fall off. Oh, ooh, a little baby fruit. Look at there. First baby fruit of the year. Bing! There it is. Jefferson plum. One fell off while I was touching. But yeah, there it is. There's a couple more like that. All right, so it has begun. Some of these branches were laden, so even if I cut this little thin, not even basically pencil size, the branch behind it was just loaded with flowers. And some of these are set, I can tell, because they don't fall off when you touch them. A lot of them will fall off when you touch them. They didn't set fruit, you know, they didn't get pollinated, whatever. The plant sacrifices them some way or another. And you can see they come off in wads, all right? And I'm barely touching them, so the ones that are staying are more than likely fertilized, or they just haven't fallen off yet. But as the plant does this, it'll just start shedding, and the whole ground will be covered in this stuff. The figs are waking up. So far, the apples, from everything I've tried to do for them, they're not waking up yet. Oh, wait, I do see a little sprig of growth. I don't know. We'll see if that copper's enough to save these trees. I see some growth on that one, actually. So I'm not even going to think about these, you guys. I just want these out of my mind. I mean, there's flowers. Look, Asian pear flowers right on the disease. I don't know if I feel good about this or not. Makes me sad. Look, I got some leaves. Some neighbor put out some leaves. Made my kids go help me get them. One bag of leaves got rid of most of that grass. See how grassy that is? See how a lot less grassy? Come around, push all the grass in there, and then put a bag of leaves and stuff it in there real quick. Yeah, it's not perfect, but it does a lot better than it was. And I did a lot less work. Figs are waking up. Figs are about to go down. I love the lake around the figs. The figs I don't worry about with this. They are monstrous. Look at this mess back here. This is like no man's land back here in this corner. It's the dog corner and the chickens. Gosh, wow. Like I said, also it flooded. You can see it's flooding where it pushed stuff up in the corner. Yeah, love the clay, but they love this. All right, the grass is growing real thick. Need to get all that cut again. Everything's starting to happen. Oh yeah, what about seeds? What are you guys doing? Y'all growing anything? We started all this obviously before everything that's happening. As you can see, we were not messing around already. Well, I have the Bloomsdale long-standing spinach, some kind of kale or another, thyme, which there may or may not be some. There's some little micro plants. It's hard to see. Sage, which is doing good. We've never grown any of this before. This is going to be rosemary. There, we got several of those. Rosemary are a perennial. They last for a long time. Peppermint had just started popping up here recently. There's hardly anything to see. Parsley still hasn't popped up anywhere as far as I'm aware. Oregano, look at these little micro seeds. Oh my goodness. And little micro plants. I don't know how to deal with that. The dill, obviously way too many seeds. We planted a lot of seeds and everything just to see, because I knew some of these were going to be hard to grow. Like rosemary, peppermint, and parsley are kind of hard to make grow. And thyme. Thyme came up and a bunch of it died off because it's that sensitive. 3 kinds of basil. Sweet basil, something basil, opal purple, opal black. That's gonna look like some cool purple basil. Yeah, we took the spinaches. So separation of plants. You got too many plants in a cell, you can actually get more plants out of it, and we already done that. We only have 6, right, of each kind. Well, we put a bunch of seeds, but we separated those 6 into, I didn't separate that one, into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we separated some and put them back into the cells individually. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we got 11 plants out of 6 cells. And these have been in here for a couple of days, so they're making it. They're not dying. We just barely pulled them apart and separated them and made more plants out of it. Yay. I didn't think about doing that with the kale because they seem to germinate so well. I wouldn't be afraid of just direct sowing that in the ground. But some of this stuff is so hard to get started that doing it like this, like these, obviously they grow so well. I wouldn't be afraid just to throw these seeds in the ground. I'm not even gonna worry about these in particular, to be honest with you. This kind of stuff is great. Some of this stuff I was just letting, wife wanted to plant real bad, so I was like, okay, baby, we'll plant. You know, being cute. Well, it's still a little early for watermelons and heart of gold, cantaloupes, and spaghetti squash, zucchinis, some other kind of squash which hasn't come up yet. But as you can see, stuff's coming up that's a little bit hotter weather than we really are at right now. But hey, it's all in good fun, right? Lettuces came up really fast. Happily, the tomatoes are starting to come up. Every one of the tomato kinds that we planted came up. San Martin, I think, Brandywine, and Purple Cherokee. All of these tomatoes were gifts from her mother and father, and that was awesome. These lettuces too, actually. Some of this other stuff. So yeah, that's great. Some of the stuff hasn't come up yet. Or all celery hasn't come up. We use a lot of yard dirt in our seed mix, so you do see a lot of weed seeds coming up. We don't worry about it too much. So yeah, we've got some stock coming for that stuff, right? We're gonna, that garden right there is getting ready to get loaded up. Just gotta get this weather working with us again. So I hope everybody else is doing good with this whole situation. Let's take a look at the free mulberry tree real quick. Free mulberry 2020, and a whole bunch of its fruit. I guess those are the flowers right now. I'm waiting for it to make fruits, be pollinated. I've kind of estimated there's a couple of hundred of these little flowery things, and I'm sure some are going to fall off. Some already have. Some are not going to make it. Some will get and we'll get some. How many that some is anybody's guess. But you can see quite a few free mulberries, hopefully. I mean, this sucker is loaded! And every one of those little branches has 3 to 5 or more fruit per little branch, right? I'm calling these fruit spurs now. That little guy. That's 2, 4, 6, 7. There's 7 I see. There's 7 or 8 on that one, right? And this whole trees are like that. So really happy with that. That thing looks great. Sunflowers are coming up. Some are wild onions. Yeah. Boy, you don't see this too much out here in this. We don't get it too often, but this is what it looks like. All right, everybody, y'all stay safe. Put something in the ground. I don't know what you're waiting on. It ain't about what's happening to us today. It's about the next 2 or 3 months, maybe even longer. We'll see. Put something in the ground. That's your best bet. It's still too early, so don't feel like you're behind. Just get it done. Talk to y'all next time.